Hello, good morning, people. Good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Alien Presidential TV. As you see the topic, Michael Manley, Jamaica's best prime minister. So I have to speak on Mr. Manley for a small moment and talk about the great things that this man has done. This man is indeed Jamaica's best prime minister, you know what I mean? The poor people's prime minister, the poor man's prime minister. I remember when even poor people used to capture back land way back, and government used to bulldoze down their house and destroy their house. And Mr. Manley stood up for poor people and let them build their house. He gave us a lot of things, even when they had that the 80s politics friction, you know what I mean, going to school. I remember going to school back them times in Montego Bay, you know what I mean? A lot of battles on the road. Lot of, enough battles and all type of debris, and you'd hear one and two shot, and anybody from Montego Bay would be familiar with Gigi's parlor. That parlor was owned by Rarely, and you would see a lot of dead bodies outside on the parlor, on the ground. At a tender age, from like 5 and 6, I've been seeing dead people like out. Anybody who is from Montego Bay, Barracks Road, you know what I mean? Barnet Lane, Barnet Street, Gully, Canterbury, they must know about Gigi's, Percy, funeral parlor owned by Rarely, you know what I mean? And I can remember those days my grandma used to talk highly of Mr. Manley. You know what I mean? Even my grandfather used to speak highly of that man. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're a Labourite. I don't care if you're a hardened Labourite or a PNP. Anybody can come and testify that Mr. Manley was a good prime minister, a very good prime minister. You know what I mean? That man went to London School of Economics. So he's a very brilliant man. He was also in the Royal Canadian Air Force. In 1968, he became president of the People's National Party, which he succeeded from his father, Mr. Norman Manley. In 1972, he became Prime Minister of Jamaica. This man is an excellent Prime Minister. No one is perfect. You know what I mean? The CIA has destroyed Jamaica, not Mr. Manley. The CIA destroyed Jamaica by sending guns and causing the politics friction amongst the people of Jamaica, not Mr. Manley. You know what I mean? Even when Mr. Manley was linking with Fidel Castro, the Cuban president, he was helping all African nations at the time when apartheid was big in Africa. America was supporting the leaders of the apartheid, giving them financial aid, guns, and whatever assistance they could have given them. You know what I mean? At that time, they had incarcerated even Nelson Mandela. Jamaica was the first country to rebel in songs, telling them to free Mandela. Big up Josie Wales, free Mandela, and a lot of other artists back in the days. So Mr. Manley is a good prime minister. A very good prime minister. Mr. Andrew Holness, you'll need to recant your statement about what the People's National Party did. Because if you start pointing fingers, they'll start pointing fingers at the Jamaica Labour Party and its connection with the CIA back in the 80s when they started implement and infiltrate the politics in Jamaica. I just want to highlight that this man was indeed a good prime minister. A prime minister for the poor people, because many people grow up right now, they're not into politics. But Mr. Manley, even though I might tend to like Labour Right Party, I will not be a biased person. Mr. Manley is and was a great prime minister. You know what I mean? So when we speak of the prime ministers of Jamaica, he will be at the head to say that he was a good leader. Because a lot of other leaders who came and gone, only fattened their pockets and left the poor people in destitute and more despair than they were in before they even entered politics. You know what I mean? So all my respect goes out to Mr. Manley. And Mr. Prime Minister, pick your battles carefully. Mr. Manley was a great Prime Minister.